I just celebrated, August 7th was my 39th sobriety anniversary. As an only child, I didn't really know how to make friends or interact with other people my age that well. And I became a very introverted and what I would now recognize as depressed, but I didn't recognize that at the time. And all these things created a lot of stress and a lot of emotional turmoil that was very hard for, an 11 or 12-year-old to deal with. We thought we were just having fun with it. And, I don't think anyone picks these things up recreationally with the intent of becoming addicted to them or necessarily knowing that they're using these substances to numb their feelings. I just thought I was like doing something naughty. I would go away to summer camp and we would drink a lot there, I started hanging around with older kids, and then we were drinking in the woods all the time and getting high in the woods. And it just seemed like initially that we were having fun. But I also just started feeling better. I mean, I didn't have all this anxiety that I'd had. My stomach didn't hurt all the time. I didn't associate any of that with using alcohol or marijuana, but clearly these substances were I was using them to self-medicate. The drinking age in New York where I grew up was 18, and the bars just let you in. Nobody really cared. I began not making my morning classes because I was just not in the mood to get up that early in the morning after staying out until 3 or 4 in the morning drinking. That started to make me a little nervous. And of course I had excuses. Like, I was the least drunk of all the people, so I drove. And she looked at me and she said, do you think that, maybe you ought to think about not drinking for a while? I was very defiant. What does drinking have to do with any of this? And I thought, well, I'll show you. That's not going to make any difference at all, and if she thinks I can't do this for a week, I'll show her. And it was particularly bad because I had taken off for a music festival in the middle of this week and was traveling with my drinking buddies from New York to Michigan. And halfway there in the car, I start shaking, trembling, actually dissociating a little bit. They're not particularly supportive. They're sitting there drinking beer in the car, trying to offer me a beer to settle me down. And something inside me just said, don't do it. So I didn't. Somehow had the presence of mind to stumble my way into that. And a bunch of women who were having a recovery meeting took one look at me and just literally grabbed me by the shoulders and pulled me into their circle and said, "We think you need to be here." And I knew without a doubt that I was an alcoholic and that my friend had been right. So immediately when I got home, I called her and she gave me some numbers, and I found a meeting, and I got a sponsor, and I started the road, to formal recovery. And all the stress with COVID, filing for divorce, dealing with depression for the last couple of years. I've been challenged in ways that I hadn't been challenged in a very long time. But it's also been an opportunity to develop a renewed set of coping skills, to redevelop my resilience. I have to take the lessons that the situation is giving me, because otherwise it would just suck and there would be no learning and no growth. One of the reasons that I like to tell my story and share the fact with people that I am in recovery from both, substance abuse, alcoholism, and depression and anxiety, is because if they're going through it, I want them to know they're not the only one, and that there's resources out there. And I feel like the more that we keep things like substance abuse, depression, and anxiety, and other mental illness, mental health, behavioral health conditions a secret, the more it sort of lends itself to people feeling ashamed of it instead of feeling empowered to seek help. You tell somebody how you're feeling. You let someone know that you're in trouble. You don't have to wait until you feel suicidal in order to get help. You can tell somebody, I'm not okay today. Or it doesn't hurt to have the list in your phone of who to call for what. Put those numbers in your phone so that you always have them. Because you never know where you'll be or who you'll be with when you find yourself needing some level of support. We have a local behavioral health emergency number that you can call, where someone will answer that line and set you up with the right resources. I didn't survive this by myself. You go back to that circle of women in the woods who kept me from, completely falling apart. To everyone who's helped me along the way, I didn't do this by myself. I had help. But to get help, you have to be willing to ask for it and accept it. And